revel in that love of the thing you're doing, because there's always money there for it. Someone will always pay for it. Like, the service that you offer billions of people, someone's always going to be there for it. You can be the greatest and the best at whatever you want in this world. I hope someone hears this and says, that's right. And then they just take life by the horns and they're just ready to go,
Yeah. I totally hear that. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
I'm sure
problem,
that the listeners will be inspired by this conversation. I'm already inspired by this conversation.
Oh,
you're giving me juices I needed. And it's like funny, like just in the midst of this whole lockdown thing, like like your creativity and your drive just slowly gets like squeezed out. So I needed to hear that myself. So thank you.
Oh, dude, anytime, man. Again, like what the funny thing is. I learned to be this way from my partners. And when I became the vice chair for AES, so for the DC chapter, and it's like my inbox got flooded with all these different engineers that had all these different questions and problems and were looking for solutions. And it forced me to become that person. Like, it forced me to go from, oh man, what am I going to do, to, well, let's figure it out. You know what I mean? That's the thing about that. It forces you to be that. And I mean, it's been awesome.
That's the engineer way also, right? Like, when engineers are confronted with a problem, we have to solve it, right?
Exactly.
There's nothing that you can't stop that. It's our nature.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, like, I don't know. If I got like stuck on my phone recently with something, and like, I was like, it didn't matter what my wife told me, I was going to have to fix that problem on my phone. Like, that's just the way our brains work.
Oh, dude, I just switched over to an iPhone. I feel you.
Oh, I'm still going strong on my Android. One of the few.
Man, look, I did, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. For music, oh man, iPhone. You know what it is? iPhone does those little things that you appreciate.
Yeah, like I'm sure.
Like me being able to send an MP3 to another user, it's an awesome thing just to hear it in for review. No email needed. And then if I want to send an email, I can just forward it from the message. Dope. You know what I mean?
Nice. I think so. So I guess jumping forward to today, like, how do you usually find artists to work with, or how do they find you?
So for me, my incredibly brilliant wife had the awesome idea of putting us on Google. And nice. She was like, put the studio on Google. And I'm like, oh man, how much is that going to cost? And she's like, it's free. And I'm like, well, heck yeah, put the studio on Google. So the way my mind works, after that became a thing, I was like, well, if it's free to put the studio on Google, how much does it cost to advertise on Google? And so I go to Google AdSense, and I think I pay like $100 a month or whatever. And it spreads the studio in like a 50, 60 mile radius on Google just for the advertisement part. But I've learned through talking with different folks of mine that do SEO and different people that are just involved in the marketing part, that talking to them, I realized that what also matters on Google is your rating. So when clients leave you good ratings on Google, it shows up for your standings of where your position is on your standings. Of course, the higher the rating or the more 5-star reviews you get, the higher your standing is on when people are looking for a studio. But you add that on top of the advertising. And so not only does my advertising pop up at the top of the page, but now I pop up in these rankings. So more people are just eyeballing it and seeing it, because on a cell phone, the advertisement is what pops up first. And then you scroll down to go see the options after you Google search something. For me, that was one of the biggest boons from my success, because here I have people, being able to just hit me up, people being able to just literally, hey, I found you on Google. Hey, I read these reviews. And so it just became a building apparatus for me. Like, you know what? If you love the studio and you love the workflow and you love the records that we did for you, leave a review. And I think since last week, I am the number one reviewed studio, I want to say, in my state right now. I have 43.
Wow.
I have 43 reviews. And one bad review from a guy who tried to basically swindle me out of my money on PayPal.
Oh my gosh.
So because I actually went and called Google about that. So I talked to someone on the phone about that, and so they're actually looking to review that review and get it taken off. So I have a perfect review. So
I think even if you have one star review, I don't think it'll hurt you so much.
Oh no. People read it because again I've responded to it, and people know the story when it comes to that. So it was just one of those things. People were just like, oh, this guy's cruddy.
Yeah, usually it's obvious.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So you've really been able to leverage like Google to like really get people to find you.
Yeah, because it's Google. Out of all of the different advertisement mediums, out of all the different places that say people can leave a review for this, and this, Google is the number one search engine in the world, and the only thing that follows after Google is YouTube. That means something.
Is owned by Google. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's the thing. That means something overall. I've gotten calls from so many different companies of advertising. And they're just like, well, we can help you with this, and this. And I'm just like, I do it directly myself. I don't need help. Like, because I learned when I was a server, this is a customer service business. And so
yes,
I try my best to service the customer in any way I can. And sure, some of those services I charge for, but I'm going to guarantee the knowledge I'm giving you is not just the average everyday knowledge. It's practical and great knowledge for you to help build your career. And on top of that, engineering wise, I know what I'm doing. So like, it's kind of one of those, hey, come over here, gain this knowledge. Let's do this work together. Have a great time and great experience. And most people, like anything else, it spreads through word of mouth, you know? And then it's the cycle. You see my advertisement. You've heard about my studio because someone's talking about it. You see my reviews and whatnot. And then the curiosity kicks in because I've made sure that my phone number is everywhere in the world. You can book from Google. You can book on the website. You can book from anywhere you see my name. You know, I try to make sure that the ability to reach me is at all times available to people. And that's the thing that sometimes I think some people falter on. You know, I'm not as concerned about my follower numbers and the people that might see me in a certain light as I am about what my clients and customers think.
Yeah, I think you got it all right, man. It's like, first of all, you have this amazing like persona and like personality that I'm sure is really helping you. But like the fact that you understand that you need to like pay to play with Google, and you understand that that's a search engine, and you're like, not just, okay, we all get sucked into this social media thing where we think we need to post there, we need to like put our efforts there, and really, does it help? Like, it's really a losing battle because you can't really beat the algorithms. You kind of, unless you're willing to pay to play, which is, it sounds like you're.
So that's the thing I learned, though. Sorry, not to cut you off. I apologize for cutting you off.
No, please. It's all good.
My thing that I learned from just my personal experience is because I've decided not to play the game, cool. I now use it what it was meant for, and it's just for the social experience. So having conversations and talking to people, I am a bigger person on Facebook than I am on Instagram. And that's great for me because it fits my age bracket. It fits the people I like talking to. But at the same time, I realize the kind of people that exist on Facebook. So having balance of that is what helps me do a better job. Why? Because when I reach out to people, I know that Facebook is still the number one social networking whole platform in the world, which means I have a better chance of contacting, getting to know, and interacting with potential clients than I do on any other platform, regardless of popularity. You know what I mean? These are the things that,
right,
as a business owner, these are the things that why we look at analytics in the first place. You know, my numbers here are great here. It doesn't mean I ignore everything else. It just means I show more attention here because this is where people interact with me the most. So when it came to Google, I made sure that my interaction here on Facebook was part of the cycle of the things that I did on Google. So I put my pictures that I post on Facebook, I post on my website. Those same pictures on my website end up on Google. Those same Google pictures, they get seen by thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that are just searching for recording studios or looking for pictures of studios. On top of that, you see my advertisement. My advertisement, the placement of it gets higher and higher because of my rating system. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And all my social media is hooked up to where? The same hub that I have as a website. You see what I mean? I just realized that I'm not good at the social media bouncing, but I am good at making sure that the core thing that I do, I just do it really well. So just connect
and that happens to, and that's serving people. Like that's like really what I'm getting out of this. And I feel like people that are like serving the algorithms are often serving themselves, and I'm guilty of this myself, rather than like serving the clients and like being a business which is helping the artists do what they need to do. You know?
It's going the extra mile, you know? I learned this. Before I worked at Cadillac Ranch, I worked at Olive Garden. And Olive Garden is a really great place for customer service because their core value that they teach you is to make sure that you really treat the customer like family. You don't like your meal? Throw it away. We'll get you something else. Literally, we will throw it away. You didn't like the experience? This meal is on the house. We want you to come back so we can help you become not just a consistent customer, but we want you to feel good because you might have had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? Let us help you have a great day. Can this food make you feel better? You know what? If I can go to my manager and say, you know what, this lady just lost her husband, this person right here, their child failed at school and they're just really frustrated. Guess what? That my manager is probably going to tell me to go get you a dessert. And when you ask, is this extra? I'm going to tell you it's on the house. Why? Because we care. You know, things of that nature are what get lost in the business transaction. And I learned that from there. And I take it here. So when a client goes, I can't afford to have a consultation with you, Will, because you cost too much money. Okay, that's cool. So let me tell you the first things you should be doing then. If you can't afford the consultation, I'm going to give you these tips for free. This is what you should be doing. And then just read up and research. And it'll still lead you down the path. It'll take a little longer, but at least you can get started. You know, things like that have helped build my business because people know, again, I'm not looking to take from you. I'm looking to help build you up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they say like a business should be offering more in like, what's the word? You're getting more than you pay for no matter what. Like you should be getting more than you're paying for no matter what with a service business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
all the time.
Even if you're being paid well.
Oh yeah.
It should still feel like, you know, for the artist that they're getting way more value, way more bang for buck.
All the time. And I think sometimes that might be where people falter in our business because they're trying to squeeze that last penny out of people and people end up leaving not feeling like they got their money's worth. You know, sure, we can all say, hey, you just came to record. I'm going to hit this record button. I'm going to send you on your way. But those extra conversations, you know, they have to happen. Those extra conversations are what help lead people to say, you know what? Maybe I can do this. Maybe I'm better than I think I am. Or the opposite. You know what? I like this and I love doing this. I think I should invest in this, and this to become better. You know, those are conversations that we, again, as engineers and people, we can have with other people and not have to put a price tag on it. You know, sometimes people just need to be uplifted. Sometimes people just need to hear the truth, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking about this artist that I was working with. I'm still in the middle of working on a project with him. And at a certain point I was like, dude, you need to start producing yourself. You need to learn some things. Like, you're not an artist that can be produced. You have too much of a specific vision to I can't like charge you a regular production fee, and you don't want to pay me hourly, so you need to figure out a way to do this yourself. Like, buy an interface, buy a microphone, figure this stuff out. You need to do it.
Exactly.
And like, hopefully something, you know, will click, you know, down the road.
True. Oh man.
Yeah. So you're doing like a bit of recording, a bit of mixing. Like what's your workflow?
So
what do you do?
So I don't really record anymore. I am a full-time mixing engineer now.
Sick. So you've really niched into it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a hard path, but once you get on it, I followed the